So when the day comes and you've run the race, you'll leave it all on the field with grace. For winners are forged in the fire of the fight. For then goal, anything's possible tonight.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at some pretty powerful concepts for living a fulfilling life.
Right.
And we're doing that by taking a look at excerpts from James William Frank's book, Fourth and Goal,
Right.
which takes a pretty unique approach, I think,
Yeah.
by using football strategy and wisdom to help us navigate the game of life.
Very cool.
So get ready to learn some practical advice with a bit of gridiron inspiration.
I love it.
And I think what's so interesting about this book is that it doesn't shy away from the tough stuff.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Frank tackles the concept of death, which might seem surprising in a book about achieving your dreams.
You know, it's interesting you say that because when I first started reading the book, I thought,
Right,
oh, this is going to be like a typical self-help book.
right.
But I was really caught off guard
Yes.
by him talking about death right away.
Me too. Yeah.
You don't really expect that.
No, not at all.
But it's so important.
And he doesn't present it as something to fear. Instead, he frames it as life's final exam,
Right.
something we can actually prepare for.
I love that analogy
Yeah,
because it really puts things into perspective.
it does.
You know,
Yep.
it makes you think about,
Yeah.
okay, if this is the final exam, what am I doing to prepare for it?
And this perspective comes from his firsthand experience working in hospitals.
Right.
And he saw how facing mortality can bring a sense of urgency and clarity to life.
It's true.
You know, suddenly you realize you're in the fourth quarter and every decision, every action counts.
Exactly.
He even talks about the idea of grieving for ourselves as we confront our own mortality.
Yeah.
I found that incredibly powerful.
It's profound.
It's like acknowledging the emotional weight of knowing that our time is limited.
Yeah. It's not about dwelling on death or being morbid or anything like that.
Right.
It's really about using that awareness to fuel a more intentional and meaningful life.
Exactly.
And I think this ties in with
Yeah.
what John W. James and Russell Friedman talk about.
Oh, yeah, those are grief experts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they talk about how grief is a journey, not a destination.
Interesting.
They challenge that traditional view of grief as a linear process with distinct stages.
Uh-huh.
And instead, they say it's much more individual and evolving.
Mm.
So there's really no right or wrong way to grieve.
I see how that perspective could be helpful for anyone going through a loss.
Absolutely.
It takes the pressure off of having to follow a specific timeline
Yeah,
and allows you to process grief in your own way.
exactly.
Mm.
That makes a lot of sense.
And, you know, I think this perspective on grief ties in beautifully with Frank's overall message of living intentionally.
Okay.
Because it's like he's encouraging us to embrace life fully, knowing that our time is precious.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have forever,
Right.
so how are we going to make the most of it?
Right. And then he lays out 5 secrets for a life well lived.
Yeah.
And I love how he uses real life examples and football analogies.
Oh, absolutely. To bring these concepts to life.
He's a master storyteller.
Yes.
And he really knows how to connect with the reader.
For example, when he talks about authenticity,
Yeah.
he compares it to a football player, understanding their strengths and their role on the team.
It's such a powerful analogy.
Yes.
Because it makes you realize that just like you wouldn't expect a wide receiver to suddenly take over as quarterback,
Right.
we each have our own unique talents and contributions to make.
Exactly.
And, you know, trying to be someone we're not
Yeah.
only leads to frustration.
So it's not about trying to fit into a mold.
Right.
It's about recognizing what we're good at and using those strengths to our advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's the idea of embracing life fully, which Frank compares to going for it on fourth down,
I love that.
taking risks even when there's a chance of failure.
He argues that the biggest regret
Yeah.
is not trying at all.
Right.
It's like leaving it all on the field.
Right.
Knowing that you gave it your best shot, regardless of the outcome.
What do you think of that?
I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we often let fear hold us back
Right.
from pursuing our dreams.
Yes.
And from really going after what we want.
Yeah.
But, you know, if we can shift our perspective
Yeah.
and realize that it's okay to fail
Right.
as long as we're giving it our all,
Yeah.
then we can truly live without regrets.
Totally. It's better to have tried and failed than to always wonder, what if?
Absolutely.
But it's not just about taking risks. It's about showing up fully in all areas of life.
That's a great point.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's about bringing that same level of passion and commitment to our relationships, to our work, our passions, to every aspect of our life.
Everything that matters to us.
Exactly.
Yeah, and another secret that really stood out to me was the idea of embodying love. And he's not just talking about romantic love here.
No,
Right.
it's much broader than that. It's about approaching life with compassion, forgiveness, and understanding,
Yeah.
both for ourselves and for others.
So it's like fostering that team spirit
Right.
where you support each other, you celebrate successes,
Yeah.
and you offer encouragement during setbacks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's that sense of connection and camaraderie that makes the journey so much more meaningful.
It is. It's about realizing that we're all in this together,
Yeah.
facing challenges and celebrating triumphs as a team,
Right.
and fostering a spirit of collaboration and support rather than competition and judgment.
Okay, next up is savoring the present
Yeah.
in our fast-paced world.
Uh-huh.
It's so easy to get caught up in worries about the future or
Right.
regrets about the past.
Yeah.
But Frank reminds us that the present moment is all we truly have.
It's the only thing we can control.
Yeah.
The past is gone, the future's uncertain,
Right.
but this moment right now,
Yeah.
this is all we have.
So he encourages us to be more mindful, to pay attention to the small joys, the everyday miracles that often go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Like, take that perfectly executed pass in a football game.
Right.
It's a fleeting moment,
Yeah.
but it's filled with beauty and precision.
Yeah.
And if we're not present,
Right.
we miss it completely.
We do.
So it's about training ourselves to appreciate those small but significant moments,
Yep.
to find joy in the simple things,
Mm-hmm.
and to be fully present in each experience.
Absolutely.
Okay, and lastly, he talks about giving more than you receive.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, and it sounds a bit counterintuitive in today's world, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Because we're often taught to focus on ourselves
Yeah.
and to look out for number one.
Right.
But Frank challenges that notion
Okay.
and encourages us to shift our perspective to a more service-oriented mindset.
So how does he explain that?
Well, he talks about it in terms of leaving a legacy that extends beyond ourselves
Okay.
and about making a positive impact on the world around us. It's about recognizing that our actions, our choices,
Yeah.
and our contributions have a ripple effect that influences those around us
Okay.
and shapes the world we leave behind.
So it's not just about what we achieve for ourselves.
Right.
It's about the positive impact we have on others.
Yeah.
And the world around us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got these 5 secrets.
Yeah.
Authenticity,
Right.
embracing life fully,
Uh-huh.
embodying love,
Yeah.
savoring the present,
Uh-huh.
and giving more than you receive.
5 powerful principles.
What I appreciate is that Frank doesn't just present them as abstract concepts.
No.
He provides practical advice on
Right.
how to actually integrate these principles into our daily lives.
Yeah, he gives you concrete examples,
Yeah.
thought-provoking questions,
Yeah.
and actionable strategies
That get-
anyone can implement.
Regardless of their background or experience,
Right.
yeah. And he encourages us to see ourselves as the architects of our own lives, empowered to make choices that align with these principles
Yeah,
and lead to a more fulfilling existence.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so empowering.
It is.
You know, it makes you realize that you're not just a passive passenger in life.
Right.
You're the driver.
You're in control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have the power to choose your destination.
And speaking of vision and purpose, Frank also talks about setting meaningful goals.
Right.
But not just any goals.
Uh-huh.
He calls them bucket list goals,
Yeah.
but with a twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So these goals should be rooted in our core values,
Right.
not just fleeting desires.
Okay.
So they should be the things that truly light us up,
Yeah.
the things that give our lives meaning and purpose.
I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of times we set goals based on what we think we should be doing.
Right.
Or what other people expect of us.
Right.
But if those goals aren't aligned with our values,
Yeah.
then they're not going to truly fulfill us.
And one of my favorite quotes from the book relates to this.
Okay.
It's, goals are the stars we steer by, not the anchors we cling to.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And it's such a powerful reminder that goals should guide us,
Right.
inspire us, and keep us moving forward,
Oh.
but they shouldn't hold us back.
Right.
or prevent us from adapting to changing circumstances.
It's like having a game plan,
Right.
but being willing to call an audible
Yes.
if the situation demands it.
You've got to be flexible.
Exactly.
And adaptable, willing to adjust our approach
Yeah.
while staying true to our overall vision.
So true.
And to achieve those meaningful goals, he suggests breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Right.
And he reminds us that every yard matters.
It does.
It's about consistently making progress,
Right.
no matter how small,
Right.
and celebrating those wins along the way.
It's about focusing on the process, on the journey, rather than getting overwhelmed by the enormity of the goal itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get discouraged
Yeah.
when you look at the big picture.
Sure.
You think, oh my gosh, I'll never get there.
Yeah.
But if you can break it down into smaller steps
Yeah.
and focus on taking one step at a time,
Yeah.
it becomes much more manageable.
It does.
And you start to build momentum.
So it's about those small, consistent steps that ultimately lead to big, transformative results.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about something we all experience,
Okay.
mistakes.
Yeah, we all make them.
But Frank has a surprisingly positive perspective on them. He actually sees them as stepping stones.
Right.
Opportunities for learning and growth.
It's a shift in mindset.
Yeah.
You know, instead of seeing mistakes as failures,
Yeah.
we can view them as valuable learning experiences.
And he encourages us to reframe mistakes as valuable feedback.
Yeah.
As chances to learn,
Yeah.
adjust our approach,
Right.
and come back stronger.
It's like fumbling the ball. It's a setback, sure,
Yeah.
but it's also a chance to analyze what went wrong, improve your technique,
Yeah.
and prepare for the next play.
So it's about learning from our mistakes
Exactly.
and using those lessons to improve.
Yeah.
He even encourages us to reflect on both good and bad decisions, asking ourselves what led to a particular outcome
Yeah.
and how we might approach similar situations differently in the future.
It's about developing that self-awareness
Right.
and becoming more strategic in our decision-making.
So it's about turning those mistakes into valuable lessons,
Absolutely.
using them to refine our skills, strengthen our resilience,
Like-
and ultimately become more effective players in the game of life.
He has this great quote.
Okay, what is it?
Wisdom isn't born from success, but forged in the fires of failure.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's in those moments of challenge, of setbacks,
Right.
that we often discover our true strength and develop the resilience we need to succeed.
And that resilience is what allows us to bounce back from adversity,
Yeah.
to learn from our mistakes,
Right.
and to keep moving forward even when the going gets tough.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Facing our mortality, the 5 secrets, setting goals, embracing mistakes.
Yeah.
And this brings us to a really interesting concept.
Okay.
Frank calls mantras for life.
Interesting.
So these are short, powerful phrases that can guide our actions
Right.
and help us navigate challenging situations.
Mm-hmm.
One that particularly stood out to me was
Yeah.
give up, give in, or give it your all.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
It's about recognizing that we have a choice
Right.
in how we respond to adversity.
Yeah. We can surrender, we can compromise,
Yeah.
or we can fight with everything we've got.
Right.
And Frank acknowledges that sometimes giving up or giving in might be the wisest course of action.
Right.
But when it comes to our dreams, our goals, the things that truly matter,
Yes.
he urges us to summon that inner warrior, that unwavering determination to overcome obstacles and achieve what we set out to do.
So he believes that this choice, this power to persevere, resides within each of us. It's
Yeah.
about tapping into our inner strength,
Right.
our resilience,
Yeah.
and our unwavering belief in our ability to make a difference.
And that's what separates the champions from the also-rans.
Okay.
That willingness to push through the pain,
Yeah.
to embrace the challenge,
Right.
and to keep fighting even when the odds are stacked against them.
It's about having that unshakable belief in ourselves, in
Yeah.
our abilities, and in the power of our dreams.
Absolutely.
And that is the foundation of a life well lived.
It is.
Now let's dive into another key concept from the book,
Wow.
habits and grit. Frank emphasizes the importance of consistent effort over time,
Yeah.
drawing on the 10,000-hour rule.
Oh, the 10,000-hour rule.
Yes.
That's a classic.
It is, and this rule suggests that achieving mastery in any field requires putting in the hours, day after day, year after year.
Consistency is key.
And while talent certainly plays a role,
Uh-huh.
he argues that it's grit that perseverance in the face of adversity
Right.
that truly separates the good from the great.
It's not just about having natural ability.
Right.
It's about the hard work,
Yeah.
the dedication,
Right.
and the willingness to keep going even when things get tough.
He compares it to football, saying it's not just about one amazing play,
Right.
but about the consistent effort,
Yeah.
the dedication, and the hard work that goes into every practice, every game, every season.
About showing up day after day, putting in the work,
Right.
even when you're tired,
Yeah.
even when you're discouraged,
Right.
even when you don't feel like it.
Because success isn't built on overnight triumphs,
Right.
but on the accumulation of small, consistent efforts over time.
And that consistency,
Yeah.
that dedication to the craft
Right?
is what ultimately leads to greatness.
And now we're getting into some really interesting territory.
Okay.
Frank introduces this fascinating idea about the algorithm of behavior.
That sounds intriguing.
He proposes that we inherit more than just physical traits from our ancestors.
Oh, wow.
Behaviors, fears, and even strengths can be passed down through generations.
Like a genetic code for behavior?
Almost like a hidden code embedded in our DNA.
That's mind-blowing.
So it's like we're born with a predisposition for certain patterns of behavior,
Yeah.
thought, and even emotion.
So you're saying that we're not entirely a blank slate?
It makes you wonder how much of who we are is determined by our genes and our upbringing,
Right.
and how much we have the power to change.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that I think we're still trying to answer.
But don't worry, Frank doesn't leave us feeling like we're just puppets of our past.
Okay, good.
He balances this concept with the idea of free will.
So we still have a choice.
He emphasizes that while we might be influenced by our past,
Yeah.
we ultimately have the power to choose our own paths,
Right.
to break free from negative patterns,
Mm-hmm.
and to create a life that aligns with our values and aspirations.
So it's like inheriting a playbook from previous generations,
Yeah.
but having the freedom to call an audible,
Right.
to change the game plan based on the current situation
Exactly.
and our own unique goals.
Okay, one last concept before we wrap up this part of the deep dive.
Right.
Visualization.
Hmm.
Frank is a big believer in the power of visualization,
Yeah.
but not just as a form of wishful thinking.
No.
He sees it as a tool for success,
Right.
a way to mentally rehearse the steps needed to achieve our goals.
So it's about creating a clear and vivid picture
Exactly.
of what success looks and feels like.
Almost like watching a highlight reel of our future achievements in our minds.
I like that.
And he connects this to mental rehearsal in sports.
Right.
Athletes often visualize themselves performing successfully,
Yeah.
feeling the energy of the crowd. And Frank believes this can be applied to any goal we want to achieve.
So it's not just for athletes.
Not at all.
It's for anyone who wants to achieve something,
Exactly.
whether it's in their personal or professional life.
And he even provides concrete examples.
Like what?
Well, imagine yourself scoring that winning touchdown,
Oh.
feeling the roar of the crowd,
Yeah.
the exhilaration of achieving that hard-fought victory.
I can feel it.
By vividly imagining the desired outcome,
Mm-hmm.
we can program our minds for success.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like we're creating a blueprint for our brains to follow.
Exactly.
And the more we visualize it,
Yeah.
the more real it becomes.
Right. And he stresses that visualization is most powerful when paired with action.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not enough to just dream about it.
Right.
We need to take those mental images and
Yeah.
translate them into concrete actions,
Uh-huh.
breaking down those big goals into smaller, more manageable steps,
Right.
and then taking consistent action towards making them a reality.
So it's about taking that vision from the realm of imagination
Yeah.
and bringing it into the real world,
Step by step,
step by step.
action by action.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's how we make our dreams come true.
And that is the essence of turning dreams into reality.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our exploration of James William Frank's Fourth and Goal.
We have.
We talked about facing our mortality, the 5 secrets for a fulfilling life,
Right.
setting meaningful goals,
Yeah.
embracing mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
the power of grit, and the intriguing concept of the algorithm of behavior.
Lots of great stuff.
And we've just scratched the surface of what this book has to offer.
There's so much more to uncover.
There is.
I can't wait to see what else Frank has in store for us.
So stay tuned for part 2,
right.
where we'll delve deeper into Frank's insights on building connection,
Okay.
the importance of self-belief,
Yeah.
and the power of resilience.
I'm ready for more.
Okay, well, we'll see you then.
All right.
So when the day comes and you've run the race, you'll leave it all on the field with grace. For winners are forged in the fire of the fight. For then goal, anything's possible tonight.
Welcome back, Deep Divers. We're in the middle of exploring James William Frank's Fourth and Goal and discovering how it can help us level up in the game of life. In this part, we'll explore Frank's views on connection, self-belief, and resilience qualities that are crucial both on and off the field.
Yeah, I think one thing that really struck me about Fourth and Goal was how Frank emphasizes the importance of connection, not just with others,
Right.
but also with ourselves.
That's a great point, and he even dedicates a whole chapter to building connections.
Yeah.
And it's not just about superficial networking,
Yeah.
He really delves into the infinite potential of shared ideas.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
The infinite potential of shared ideas.
Frank firmly believes that ideas have the power to transform lives.
Yeah.
Even the world. But only if they're shared, discussed,
Right.
challenged, and refined through collaboration.
It's like that saying, two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
And when you bring multiple perspectives together,
Yeah.
that's when the real magic happens.
It reminds me of a team brainstorming a game-winning play.
Absolutely.
Everyone brings their unique perspectives and experiences to the table,
Right.
and that's where the magic happens.
And Frank encourages us to approach every interaction with curiosity and openness. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this person?
Yay.
How can my ideas contribute to their growth?
It's a two-way street,
Exactly.
a dynamic exchange of ideas.
It's not just about taking. It's also about giving.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It shifts the focus from self-promotion to genuine connection and mutual learning.
Precisely. And it's through this exchange that real innovation is born.
Yeah, that spark of connection, the synergy of shared ideas.
It's truly remarkable.
But Frank also cautions against losing ourselves in the process.
Yeah.
He talks about finding the right balance between influence and independence.
Right, because we can be influenced by others.
Yeah.
We can learn from them. We can grow alongside them. But we also need to hold on to our own sense of self.
It's like a well-coordinated team.
Yeah.
Where each player brings their unique skills and personality to the game.
That's a great analogy.
And Frank provides some practical tips for striking this balance.
Like what?
He talks about setting boundaries, protecting our core values, and listening actively to others without sacrificing our own voice.
So it's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where we connect deeply with others
Right.
while staying true to ourselves.
It's a delicate dance,
It is.
but mastering it can lead to more authentic and fulfilling relationships.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears and discuss a topic that's often easier said than done,
Okay.
believing in yourself.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Frank dedicates a whole chapter to this, emphasizing that self-belief is the bedrock of success.
And he acknowledges that self-doubt can be crippling.
Yes, it can be so debilitating.
It can.
But he also believes that confidence can be cultivated.
So it's not something you're either born with or not. It's something you can develop.
Exactly. And he suggests celebrating small victories,
Yeah.
learning from failures, and reminding ourselves of past accomplishments.
It's like creating a mental highlight reel of our successes.
Right.
Focusing on those times we overcame challenges and exhibited strength.
And Frank uses a brilliant analogy.
Oh, it's that.
He says the game is won or lost in the mind before it's played on the field.
I love that.
It emphasizes that mindset is everything.
It really is.
If we believe we can win, we're far more likely to take risks,
Yeah.
put in the effort,
Uh-huh.
and ultimately achieve our goals.
He also has another great quote.
Oh, what's that one?
Regret is the result of plays unmade. Success is the result of leaving it all on the field.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's about approaching life with a no regrets attitude,
Yeah.
giving our best effort to every opportunity that comes our way.
It's about living fully, embracing the challenges,
Yeah.
and knowing that we've given it our all, regardless of the outcome.
That's the essence of a life well played.
Absolutely. Speaking of giving it your all, Frank delves into his personal life,
Okay.
sharing lessons he learned from his family and upbringing.
So he gets vulnerable.
He does.
and shares some of his own struggles.
He talks about his siblings and loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
highlighting how family acts as our first school, teaching us about loyalty,
Right.
love, and resilience.
It's where we learn those foundational skills.
He shares a particularly moving story about his daughter, Mary,
Oh, yeah, I remember that story.
whose life and legacy beautifully illustrate the power of love and purpose.
It's a reminder that our impact on others
Yeah.
can extend far beyond our lifetimes.
Right.
And the greatest legacies are built on compassion and connection.
It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of our lives
Yeah.
and how our actions and choices ripple outward, touching the lives of those around us.
And, speaking of interconnectedness,
Yes.
let's revisit that intriguing concept Frank calls the algorithm of behavior.
Oh, right. The idea that we inherit more than just physical traits from our ancestors.
Yeah.
Behaviors, fears, and even strength can be passed down through generations.
It's fascinating and a bit daunting,
Yeah.
because it makes you wonder how much control we really have over our own lives.
Right.
But Frank doesn't leave us feeling trapped by our past.
Okay.
He reminds us that we have free will.
So we're not just predetermined to follow in the footsteps of our ancestors.
Exactly. We have the power to choose which patterns to embrace,
Yeah.
modify, or reject entirely.
So it's not about being determined by our past,
Right.
but understanding it,
Yeah.
learning from it,
Uh-huh.
and using that knowledge to shape our own destinies.
It's like inheriting a playbook from previous generations,
Okay.
but having the freedom to rewrite it, to create our own game plan based on our unique goals and aspirations.
Now let's delve into resilience,
Okay.
a quality that's essential both on the football field and in life.
Yeah, you got to be able to bounce back from setbacks.
Frank offers great insights on how to develop it.
Like what?
He emphasizes the importance of adapting over time,
Right.
recognizing that our goals, dreams, and circumstances will inevitably change.
Nothing stays the same forever.
Right. Life is constantly throwing us curveballs.
It is.
And he encourages us to revisit our goals regularly,
Yeah.
adjust our game plan as needed,
Uh-huh.
without losing sight of our broader vision.
It's about being flexible,
Yeah.
adaptable, and willing to pivot when necessary.
Right. And he beautifully captures this in a quote.
Oh, what's the quote?
Resilience is the bridge between challenges and renewed vision.
I like that.
It's about seeing challenges not as roadblocks,
Right.
but as opportunities for growth, learning, and refining our path.
So it's about turning those setbacks into stepping stones.
Exactly. And speaking of growth, Frank believes that passion and drive are essential for achieving anything worthwhile.
Yeah, you got to have that fire in your
He
belly.
calls it the warrior within.
Oh, I love that.
And he's not talking about aggression or violence.
No.
He's referring to that inner fire, that unwavering determination to overcome adversity and achieve our goals.
He says the warrior's greatest weapon is a heart set on fire with purpose. It's about finding that thing that truly ignites our passion,
Yeah.
that gives us a reason to get up every morning and fight for what we believe in.
It's about tapping into that deep well of passion
Right.
and letting it fuel our actions, decisions,
Uh-huh.
and the relentless pursuit of our dreams.
Now let's revisit visualization.
Okay.
It plays a crucial role in Frank's playbook for success.
And he sees it as more than just wishful thinking.
Right.
It's about mentally rehearsing the steps needed to achieve our goals,
Uh-huh.
creating a clear and vivid picture of what success looks and feels like.
Think of it like watching game film in your mind,
Okay.
studying the plays,
Yeah.
visualizing yourself, making that perfect pass or scoring that winning goal.
And remember, visualization is most effective when paired with action.
Absolutely.
It's not enough to just dream about it. We need to create a step-by-step plan.
Yeah.
Break down those big goals into smaller, actionable tasks,
Uh-huh.
and then start taking those steps one at a time.
It's about taking that vision from the realm of imagination
Right.
and bringing it into the real world.
Translating those mental images into concrete actions.
That, my friends, is the essence of turning dreams into reality.
We've covered a lot in this part of our exploration of Fourth and Goal.
We have.
We've discussed building connections, the power of self-belief,
Right.
the importance of resilience,
Yeah.
and the art of visualization.
Lots of great stuff.
But there's still more to uncover.
Oh, there is.
In part 3, we'll explore Frank's reflections on the past as a compass for the future,
Okay.
the wisdom we can glean from life's outtakes, and his inspiring message about the power of possibility.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned.
All right.
So when the day comes and you've run the race, you'll leave it all on the field with grace. For winners are forged in the fire of the fight. For then goal, anything's possible. tonight.
All right, deep divers, welcome back. It's the final quarter of our deep dive into James William Frank's Fourth and Goal.
We're in the home stretch.
We've uncovered some fantastic strategies for a more intentional and fulfilling life.
Yeah, some real game changers.
But Frank takes it even further in this last section.
Yeah, he really challenges us to think differently about our past, both personally and as a species.
Okay, so instead of seeing the past as something to dwell on or regret,
Right.
he encourages us to see it as a valuable compass for navigating the future.
It's like looking in the rearview mirror
Okay.
to see where you've been,
Yeah.
but not to stay stuck there.
Right,
You use that information to guide you
right.
as you move forward.
And he urges us to look back on all our experiences, the triumphs and the setbacks,
Uh-huh.
with gratitude.
Gratitude is key.
Those experiences can serve as guideposts
Right.
for our present choices and future aspirations.
You know, it's like they say, experience is the best teacher.
He has this insightful quote:
Okay, let's hear it.
"The past is a map, not a prison. Use it wisely to chart your course."
That's a good one.
It reminds us that we can learn from those experiences and apply that wisdom to our lives.
Absolutely. And even the painful experiences hold valuable lessons.
You know, it's funny how that works.
It is.
Sometimes the toughest times in our lives
Yeah.
end up being the ones that teach us the most.
And Frank even talks about the wisdom we gain from life's outtakes.
Outtakes, okay.
Those moments that might not make it into the highlight reel,
Right.
but are essential parts of our story.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up in wanting to present a perfect image of ourselves.
It is, especially in today's social media-driven world.
But he encourages us to embrace those outtakes,
Yeah.
those mistakes, detours, and unexpected twists and turns.
And it was those imperfections that make us who we are.
He reminds us that a full life is one that's been lived boldly, with every mistake and every triumph woven into the fabric of our being.
It's about embracing the whole journey
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
because it's all part of our story.
So true. It's like viewing our lives as tapestries. They're beautiful because they contain threads of joy and sorrow, victory and defeat, love and loss, all intertwined to tell our unique stories.
And it's often in those seemingly imperfect moments,
Yeah.
those outtakes,
Right.
that we experience the most profound growth and discover our greatest strengths.
Now, as we approach the final whistle of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to highlight one of the most inspiring messages from Fourth and Goal:
Right.
the power of possibility.
Yeah. Frank is a big believer in that.
He firmly believes that when we commit fully, when we give it our all and leave everything on the field,
Ah.
the possible becomes inevitable.
So it's not just about hoping for the best.
Right.
It's about making it happen.
He challenges us to dream big, to set audacious goals, and to believe that we're capable of achieving far more than we might initially think.
He reminds us that our potential is truly limitless.
He encourages us to approach life with a sense of wonder, a belief in ourselves, and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
You know, it's about stepping outside our comfort zones.
Yeah. And taking risks.
And he reminds us that when we're fully present,
Yeah.
engaged,
Right.
and playing with courage and determination,
Right.
anything is possible. We can achieve amazing things when we tap into that mindset.
So as we wrap up our exploration of Fourth and Goal, I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
If life were a game, what would your winning play look like?
What are the goals, dreams, and aspirations calling to you? What steps can you take starting today to move closer to making them a reality? You know, Frank reminds us that we have the power within us to create a life filled with purpose, passion, and fulfillment.
And on that note, deep divers, it's time for us to head to the locker room.
It's been a great game.
It has. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through James William Frank's inspiring playbook for life.
So when the day comes and you've run the race, you'll leave it all on the field with grace. For winners are forged in the fire